Hi, my name is Shirley.
And I'm Brandy.
And welcome back to Unspoken Transitions, where we talk about the nuances of adulthood and the transitions that people don't usually talk about that we struggle with. So today's topic is redefining fun as an adult, right? And what that actually means. So we can start off with sharing what we found fun from our late teens to like 20s, early 20s and everything. So like, what did you define as like a fun or good time when you were like 18 to 21?
Yeah. Ooh. I feel like I used to like to just be outside doing stuff. Like, I did enjoy my time alone and just, you know, doing whatever I wanted to do, like reading or whatever the case is. But I also really liked to go out, like go out to eat, you know, with my friends or whatever events or social things that were happening in the area. I was like, sign me up, I'll be there. Like any college events, anything, I was kind of just like, I want to be out, I want to be around people, and doing that. And I feel like in my teens a little bit, I really liked playing things like Sims and stuff like that. Like, I spent a lot of time on
Same. I still do.
I want to get back into Sims, but I feel like I would get sucked back in. I would get sucked back in.
No, it's okay, let it. Just let it suck you back in.
It'll be really hard.
I promise you, because like, quick side note, but like for Sims, yes, I've started playing it again, but you know how like, I don't know if you were similar to me, but I'd be on it for like 6 hours straight or like 3 hours straight. Yeah. But as an adult, there's no time for that. You don't have time. You do not have time. I have spent like an hour and then I have to close it.
Really?
Yeah, like not because it's not fun, but it's just like I have other things to do, so I'm gonna do this rather than scroll on TikTok for an hour.
Yeah.
And you can't, like, you literally don't have the time to play for like 8 hours straight unless you clear the day purposefully for Sims. But at that point, I think that might be a bigger issue if you reserve 12 hours to just like focus on it.
But I feel like when I was a teen, I was like thinking about my families. I'm like, oh, they gotta go to work. I gotta get back on.
No, legit, I'm doing the 100 baby challenge since like, and that's where you just have 100 kids within the same family. Within the same family, just like one person, you pick one person, and it has to be different people. It cannot be the same person. Same like partner. You can't get married to him. You can't get like dating or anything. You can't live with you. I love the challenge, and you just need to have as many kids as possible. No cheats, no nothing. Just play it. Yeah. So right now, that's what I'm saying though. If I found out about this this challenge when I was like 18, I would have had 70 kids by now, right? But because I found out about it this past year and I just started getting into Sims again, I'm on kid 13. Like, I started this like in February. I'm on kid 13. You know what I'm saying? So
it took some time though.
It does
to get there. I feel having 13 people on that sidebar, I feel
it's very funny. And like, I'm gonna stop like ranting because I can go on forever about this, but their father recently, of the oldest son or whatever, first kid, his father recently died, and he's like mourning about it but it was like of old age, it wasn't of anything. And I'm like, this is like actually kind of crazy because the sim who's having all these kids is technically still a young adult, because if you get the sim pregnant, then she doesn't age, so it's like it's so funny.
But I feel like the people that aren't in your house age faster. Like, I'm like, why are you a young adult 2 days ago? Why are you like,
why are you old?
Why are you an elderly person?
No, literally. Anyways, but similarly, same. Like, I had the bandwidth and strength to be out Monday through Sunday. I'd work 8 to 4, 9 to 5. After work, I am out 6 to 10. Go to sleep, wake up, do it again. Like on vacations, like I'd be up at like 6, breakfast at 8, activity at 10. Lunch at 12, activity at 1, after activity at 1 o'clock, then 3 o'clock we are eating again, and then we're doing another activity, and then we go home, change, and go out to eat again. Like, I would have 8 activities packed in a vacation. I promise you, I'll go to sleep, wake up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. the next day, ready to go again. You could not pay me to do that now. I do not have that strength. So like, the fun for me was like, in college specifically, thinking like 18 to 21 and everything, it was, like you said, playing Sims. It was going out all the time, experiencing as much as possible, because I came from a strict household and like I could go out, but I never was able to just do what I wanted. So it was all about getting that experience, catching up, doing as much as I can, and just like having fun, having new experiences, drinking, all of the above. Yeah, that was my definition of fun. Some of them still apply. and some of them do not still apply. So how has that changed for you, like fun, like now in our like mid-late 20s?
Yeah, for me, there's certain things that I just don't want to do anymore. I don't find them fun. Like being in a crowd full of people at like a festival or a concert or something like that. I don't want to do that. Sit me in a seat. I want to see it. I don't want to be in the pit. I don't want to be in the pit anymore. I don't want to be pushed around. But when I was, you know, a young adult, I was like, oh, this is fun. This is cool. I'm just happy to be here. And now I'm like, I like convenience. And now, later in my young adulthood, later in my 20s, I feel like I like traveling more. And that was like the first time that I got the opportunity to travel. So I feel like that's something that I find to be really fun and that I still enjoy. Still with the convenience though, like I will pay to have a direct flight, or the hotel matters to me. So, you know, I feel like I pay for convenience. Convenience kind of equates to my fun. And I don't like things that are super loud now. It's just like, I don't know, I feel like I'm getting older. I'm like, wait, it's kind of loud here. Y'all giving me a headache. What's going on?
No, 100%, I agree. I'm very similar to where speaking to energy and doing things, stuff like that, it's not even an activity a day. It's like, give me 2 activities a week. After that I need a rest. Like I'm tired, I can't do it. Or like loud sounds, like to the point where the bathroom fan annoys the life out of me. I hate the bathroom fan. It's too loud. Or like if I turn on the TV and it's like screaming, I'm like, what is going on? Brightness on phone down. Like loud places, crowds, keep me out of it. Like count me out. I'm not trying to do it. I
feel like I find relaxation to be more fun now. Like just calm, peace, all of that. And just trying to find people who connect with me on that level, too.
I think it's a hard transition because for me personally, I was beating myself up a lot because I was just like, why can't I do these things anymore? Why can't I go out 5 times a day? Why can't I do it? Like I was like, what's wrong with me? And at first I was like, oh, it's just grad school burnout. Like I'll be able to bounce back in 6 months, or I'll be able to bounce back in a year. And here I am to this day, still can't do it. And it's, I think it's kind of like, because it just kind of happens, it's kind of like you have to go through a grieving period. Like, oh, like I no longer have the capacity for me to do all these things in one day, or I don't have the bandwidth to do this. Like this is not fun for me, and that is okay. Like fun is different for me. And I think that I had a very hard time because I was just like, I just need to bounce back, I just need to get back into it. So not realizing that like my body and mind and just well-being overall, I just can't keep up with that. Like I'm not 18, I'm not old, but I'm not 18 anymore, and I can't expect to have the same energy, bandwidth, all of the above as 18, or I'm just setting myself up for disappointment and failure. And like it's okay to want and like different things. Being older, not old, but like older, and just like making peace with that. But like it took me like 2 years to like make peace with it, because I genuinely was just like, oh, like I need to do this.
Because that's what you were so used to for so long. Like we would just always go out. We would always just like staying up late too was always a thing. And now I'm like, I'm tired. I'm tired now. Yeah.
10:30, I start getting sleepy. I'm like, all right, bedtime. 11 p.m. I'm trying to keep up, but I'm still falling asleep. You know what I'm saying? And people might be like, oh, it's because of like work and everything. Like it's like, honestly, I'm doing a lot, whether it's caring for friends, family, all of the above. So my body needs to rest, and it's important for me to like listen to what my body's telling me, rather than just trying to continue doing what I want to do because like that's what I was used to, or like that's what, it's just like it's okay. Like I don't like crowds either. Actually, I detest crowds. I really hate being in crowds, and like it's just too much. Like even on the train, I know it's just the purpose of the train, but like I don't like sitting too close to people. It's just like I don't know you, I don't want you touching me. I know they said COVID is canceled, but mask is always on. So yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, it is really tough, and it's a transition like you said. I think we think because our priorities change that what we consider to be fun has to change, but I don't think that's always the case.
That's true.
Yeah, because I feel like when you're older, people think that you have to like certain things, or you're immature if you still like certain things. Like older people who do enjoy, you know, video games or going out to parties and stuff like that. And I think everything is okay in moderation. Of course, our responsibilities change, but that doesn't make you necessarily immature if you like that stuff or want to still do that stuff that you really enjoyed when you were younger. I also think it's like what's the extent? Are we doing this in excess, and why are we doing it too? Because sometimes we do, you know, things as a sense of kind of like masking what we're feeling in a lot of ways, or distracting ourselves from reality or hard stuff that we're going through too. So I think that's where I draw the line of, is this fun, or am I trying to mask something else that's going on?
Exactly. Especially, like, I really want to hone in on the fact that just because you are 18, 20 doesn't mean that you have to stop liking video games. If you like drawing when you were younger, it's not childish now that you're an adult, or your late 20s, 30s, 40s. It doesn't matter. What you enjoy is what you enjoy. Who you are is who you are at its core, and like still exploring and doing those things is really, really important as an adult, because they don't just turn off. The reason why some people, a lot of adults in their mid, late 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and just going on are so miserable and they're so sad and sometimes depressed, is because they don't allow themselves to really indulge in the things that they enjoy, which just in turns to like anger, like hatred, projection, all these other things. Like, it just stays in there because you're not giving yourself an outlet to just be as creative, because we all need creative things no matter what it is, and just really diving into it. Whatever your passion is, you're not too old for it, you're not too young for it. Like, just continue doing it. Continue doing the things you love. Just because you hit a certain age, it doesn't mean that it's just going to turn off, and people have that misconception. Just because you have a kid, it doesn't mean that you can't do things that are fun. Just because you are married, it doesn't mean that you can't travel with your friends anymore. You need to, I think in society they try to pressure us to like force us to be as bland as possible, to like blend in and mesh or whatever, but I think it does us a disservice to diminish ourselves and push ourselves down to that extent, because it really does, it takes away from life. It really does take away from life. So don't feel ashamed, and don't allow people to make you feel ashamed for loving what you love, because there's nothing wrong with it. I want to say that. And again too, like you're saying, coping skills and just making sure that what you're doing is not in excess. So like if you are drinking, there's nothing wrong with drinking, right? But are you drinking every single time you have a long day? Are you drinking every single day? Are you after a long week, are you just getting blackout drunk in order for you to not forget? Are you trying not to think? Are you avoiding something when you're drinking? And if you are avoiding something when you are drinking, then like you should evaluate, reflect, talk to a therapist, write about it, do something to work through it, because you're using it as a crutch rather than approaching the problem. And not being sober shouldn't be a solution to your problems, because yes, life is hard and everything, but I promise you life will be especially hard if you develop an alcohol addiction. You know what I'm saying? And it's just going to get worse as you get older, because your brain is developing and your brain is learning, and the habits that you have carry you on moving forward. So you don't want an alcohol addiction, you don't want to have this substance as a crutch, then you should work on it now, so that it's easier to just stop rather than it being a permanent habit as you get older and as you like enter further into adulthood and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's so important to like recognize, because I think when you're in the pattern of it, you may not like recognize that, okay, this is where I am, or like, why am I drinking? Like, because in your head it's like, oh, this is fun, like this is what I've always done, you know. And I think another point too is, I think culturally our society is very based around, you know, alcohol, drugs, sex, partying, stuff like that, as things that are fun, or things that are pushed in the media as fun too. And it's okay if that's not your thing, or you know, if it was your thing at a point in time and that was like what you deemed as fun, that's completely fine. And then at a point in time maybe you outgrew, or you don't find that as fun anymore. I think that can be a challenging transition, when maybe, you know, all the people that you used to hang out with or were friends with at the time, you all enjoyed doing the same things that you all agreed were fun, and then now you're kind of like, okay, maybe I find new things fun. How do I find my, you know, and I know we talked about like creating new friendships in like one of our earlier episodes of this season, but finding your niche of people that like what you enjoy now and what you find fun now, that can be hard. And I think that's when it doesn't become fun anymore. When it's like, am I doing this for other people, and to just still be friends with these other people even though it's not satisfying me anymore?
Like, are you doing this because it's just what you're used to, or just like what most people are doing because it's a trend, or are you doing it because you genuinely enjoy it and you enjoy doing these things? Like, there's nothing wrong, again, there's nothing wrong with drinking, there's nothing wrong with smoking, there's nothing wrong with going to the club, there's nothing wrong with I don't know, using substances, as long as it's not like, I don't know, meth or something. But like, at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with using these things. It's just, if it's no longer aligning with you, like let's say you don't want to drink anymore, or like you don't want to smoke anymore, or you don't want to do certain things, I think it's important to one, evaluate your circle, because like let's say you're trying to stop drinking and everyone around you is drinking and everyone around you is encouraging you to like get blackout and all the time. It's gonna be, and you're hanging out with these people 3-4 times a week, it's gonna be hard for you to stop the habit in order for you to kind of like lean into it. And don't get me wrong, there are people that I know that when I told them I don't want to drink as much, or like I'm trying to like really like not every single time I go out like drink blackout and stuff like that, and they respected that and they were okay with it, and they even were like, you know what, let's get a mocktail, like let's like get a juice or whatever. But if your friends are not encouraging you to support your goals, it's just like like they're not encouraging you to, or you're just like, hey guys, can we not like get drinks today because I'm really not in the point where I can like just be around drinks right now, they're not respecting that, then I think you should reevaluate your friendship circle. If they're pushing you and they're pressuring you and you're just like, no, it's you, like it's you're the one who drinks, like you're the one who like gets blackout, you're the one da 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 da, and they're trying to focus on who you were rather than who you want to be and your goals and everything, then you really should evaluate who your circle is. Again, there's no judgment on people who drink, who smoke, and all these other things, but all friends and people should be encouraging each other to support one another's goals. So if they're not trying to do that, or they're just pressuring you into being the image that they want you to be, then you should reevaluate the friendship and the respect that they have for you. So
yeah,
that's really tough. Yeah,
it is. It's a really hard transition, and I can see a lot of people who just get, you know, wrapped back up into things, or they feel like they don't fit in because they don't, you know, like certain things anymore. But it's so important to have a circle that values what you value and values your happiness and what you find to be fun too. So
yeah,
I hope that was your experience.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like I have told my friends, I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to smoke, like I'm not trying to drink like that anymore. I know in college that's all it was, like 18 21, it was just all that, drinking, blackout, like all these other things. But ultimately you reach a point, like I reached the point where I was just like, I'm not, this doesn't align with me anymore. And my friends were very respectful about it. They were just like, oh, like you're not trying to do this, is it okay if I smoke, is it okay if I drink, right, is it okay if I do these things? And I would, like, if I was in a good spot, I'd be like, yeah, like actually most of the time I think I just said yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm completely fine with you smoking around me or like drinking around me, like I have no issues with that, but I respect you even more for like thinking of me before indulging in it, and also not pressuring me to continue doing something because you remember me as being this person or like being in this specific lifestyle. So I'm glad that like my friends do support me and everything, and I haven't had like the other end where they're pressuring me and everything.
Yeah,
but
that's good. And you can still enjoy things that you all find to be fun too, you know what I mean? Like there are just so many like different aspects of it too.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point too. If you only can be with your friends if you're drunk or if you are high, then that is a problem. You shouldn't only enjoy people's company when you are under the influence of anything. You should be able to have a conversation, be able to be in their presence, to be able to go out and do things that's not focused around substances. And if you only can have a good time with somebody under some influence, like that's the only way you can have fun, then it's concerning, and you should think about, was the friendship as deep as I thought it was, or do we just have a good time together? So thinking of that too, because I think you also have to think about like who you are and how the person you want to be when you're getting older, right? So if you don't want to be the person that's drinking 5, 6, 7 days a week, when as the person, your ideal person, for example, then you should cut that back. If you want to be a person that exhibits leadership skills or exhibits certain things or isn't socially awkward, like all these things you should be actively trying to implement one by one and see how you can change and turn into the person that you always aspire to be. But if you have people that are not encouraging you to do that, or are stuck on you staying a specific way, or don't have respect for you and are constantly influencing you to stay back or like keep you where they want you to be because it makes them feel comfortable, then you'll never elevate to that point. And like, yes, company is great and we all need people, but if the company you keep is only putting you down or only putting you at a point where like you stay stagnant because of their desires and their wants, I don't know if that's your friend. Because I think all of us, regardless of if we're on opposite scales of spirituality, religion, like habits, goals, and it doesn't matter, like we all have different things that we want to do and become different people, and if we're not encouraging each other in whatever that we're doing, then I'm not sure if that's a friend that you want, or a actual friend in the first place. So
yeah,
that's definitely tough.
For sure.
But yeah, all in all, I know that we like to be independent and kind of say we are not influenced by the people we're around with, and like I'm my own person, everything, but you truly are the people you surround with. They affect your emotions, they affect how you feel, they affect like your goals, they affect so many things. So your minds, all of the above. If you're around people that are constantly like just, I don't know, violent, for example, you might not be as violent as them, but you might accidentally grab on some of those violent features or whatever, or anger, or whatever the case may be. So
unintentionally too.
Completely, or you might
unintentionally.
Exactly, or just react in a way that you never really reacted before. You're like, oh, like, where did that come from? So be mindful of the company you keep and make sure that they're encouraging you. But thank you for listening, and feel free to send an email to unspokentransitions.com if you have questions, comments, or anything else.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.